All right, y'all, welcome back to Tailored Parenting Tips. This is tip number 36. Show them where you grew up. And in my case, I had to take them to Sierra Leone and also take them to Maryland to be able to show them where I grew up. But I think it's an important thing for our kids to be grounded in an understanding of who we are and how we grow up and the places and experiences and situations that we found ourselves in growing up. I think it gives them a deeper sense of understanding of who we are as people as opposed to just parents. And I think it really strengthens their own love of self, right? So in my kids' case, they when they first came to the U.S., I took them out to Maryland first to show them where I grew up. I took them to all the different houses and apartment complexes that I'd stayed at and told them, like, for example, Summit Hills in Maryland, like we stayed here when I was 10. I think we stayed in Suburban Towers when I was 10, but by like 13, we moved to Summit Hills. And then eventually we moved to Munson Street in Wheaton. And then I took them to Albert Einstein High School to show them the high school I went to. I took them to Sligo Middle School to show them the middle school I went to. I took them to where Woodside Elementary School used to be. I took them to Woodland Elementary School. If I could remember where Eugene Clark Elementary was, I would have taken them there because that's the first school I started out in Washington, D.C., but I did take them to Washington, D.C. I took them to my uncle and auntie's house, Uncle Bob and Auntie Eiler, because I spent a lot of time with my cousins, Mahaney, Miata, and Baki, and I wanted them to see the types of places that I spent time growing up in. So the only thing that's left to do in the U.S. when the opportunity presents itself is to take them to New York. Well, actually, I took them to, I forgot about that. I took them to New York, so I took them through Wall Street, took them to Brooklyn, by Prospect Park, showed them where I used to stay on St. John Street. And what's left now is to take them to Providence to show them Brown and to take them to Cambridge to show them Harvard Business School in the US. And they've already seen the places that I spent time in California when they came to visit before they moved over. Probably the most important trip for me, though, was when I took them to Freetown, because I wanted them to really, really see how fortunate we are and how connected we are with family members. The majority of my family is still in Freetown. So I took them to number 1 Terry Street, where I grew up. Easton, I took them to Trinity Elementary School, showed them the school that I started out in, and then we spent some time with my brother Usman and his family. They met my cousins, so their uncles and aunties, my cousins Ezer, Marion, and Stella. I took them to see my uncle Balogu. They spent some time, and we spent some time with my cousin Kwame, Uncle Balogu's son. And the nice thing is they saw Sierra Leone in the full light. So they saw Easton, where it tends to be a little bit on the lower end of the socioeconomic side in Sierra Leone. And then they saw Regent, where my cousin Kwame stays, where it tends to be on the more upper income side. So, and I remember Gilbert being particularly impressed that Uncle Kwame has a house that has its own gym and pool and those types of things. So for me, it was important to show them that this is where I started. I started humbly, and it's possible in Sierra Leone, if you're doing the right things and in the right businesses, to be able to live a very good and very comfortable life. So I'm curious about you. Have you had a chance to share with your kids where you grew up? Have you taken them to the places that made you who you are, or that make you who you are? And have you had the conversations with them to see how they react to seeing and experiencing these places? Because I certainly did have that conversation with them, and I was really touched to hear how much they appreciated seeing the things, and also how motivated they were to see that you know, it's possible to be successful and live quite comfortably in Africa, because that's a theme I've been sharing with them, is that we're here in the US and we should take advantage of the opportunities, and it's possible to do a lot of great things in Africa. And I certainly want them to want to go back to the continent and contribute to the great things that I would like for our family to be a part of doing for the continent of Africa and for Africans. Okay, so I've said a lot. I hope this video has been informative and entertaining, but also useful in terms of the tip itself. So I'm curious to know if you have told your kids about you and how you grew up and who you are, and if you did that, I would love to know like how that conversation went. Drop me some comments, and if you've liked this video, please smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to be notified when I drop the next parenting tip, hit that notification bell. If you think someone would benefit from watching this video, please share the video. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. See you soon.